those baby blues. Yeah, those baby blues. Those baby blues. Yeah, those baby blues. A broken man without a path. A vagrant madness without a mouth. Some kisses your cheek and then grazes your neck. Makes my lips so damn jealous. For you and me. And those baby blues. Yeah, those baby blues. Take my picture with you when you go out west. Those baby blues. If you love me, then just say it with your chest. Those baby blues. Now, don't forget about me, yeah. I will do my best. Those baby blues. Oh, that's true for me and you. Take my picture with you when you go out west. If you love me, then just say it with your chest. But don't forget about me, yeah. I will do my best, and that's true for me and you. And those baby blues. Yeah, those baby blues.
What is up, Bills Mafia? Welcome to the K-Gun Report, Season 7, Episode 2. It's me and my brother Jared today. We're going. And we're talking a lot about Bills football, a lot about the newest things that have happened, a couple signings, couple fifth-year options. And we're also going to get in with you, the fam, the Buff fan base, the Bills Mafia, the Fandemonium. We're going to get into what we think the 2026 Bills offense and defense are going to look like this coming up season. So let's get into it. See you in a second.
Hey, Bills Mafia. This is Don Beebe of the Buffalo Bills, and you're listening to the one and only K-Gun Report. Oh, and you all know, go Buffalo.
What's up, Bills Mafia? Welcome to...
Can't hear you, bro.
Really? Oh, yeah, let us know if you guys can hear me, because I can hear me fine.
I'll tell you when I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
We had this all going. I don't know if anybody can hear you, but we had it all set and going, and then Scott checked out to get the stream going, and we cannot hear it so far. So, again, this is sometimes how it works here at the K-Gun Report. We have everything going the correct way, and then it drops hard. I know we got thunderstorms going all the way around us here, and the Finger Lakes and that in Rochester and all that stuff. So that might play a part. Scott, when you
Corey Teed said he can hear me.
can't hear you, let me check the Facebook feed.
Yep. Well, that's the way it works. So, anyways, that's what we run into, guys. This is the 2026. What we feel about the offense and defense. Jared, Corey says you can hear them both. So let's not worry about. Can you not hear me? Okay.
Corey says you can hear them both. Okay.
There we go. That must be on Jared's end. Jared, the question is, can you hear me?
I can't hear you, bro.
Okay. Well, that's on your end then. Everything's unmuted. So
I'll be right back.
Yep. So how we're going to do this, guys, Jared's going to go ahead and leave. This is how this works on, this is how we do. So I'll get you guys involved. We might as well say hi to the fans joining us and telling us that we can hear the boys. Lisa Passion Jones says, hello, boys. RT from the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. What's up, RT? Hey, oh, yeah. Lisa says, hi, Ryan. Showing the love. All right, let's see if we can't get Jared back in here now. Can you hear me now, Jerry?
I can hear you loud and clear, bro. How are you?
Oh, geez. Was it your end?
It must have been this whole thing about starting over and stuff, but I'm here.
All right. So I'm just saying hi to the fans joining us. Season 7, episode 2. Something happens every show, guys. You know it as well. Anybody that does podcasting and live streams, something always drops. Plus, it doesn't help that Jared's trying a new thing. He had an old style dial-up computer that he was using before. So there that is. Lisa, are you on the show tonight? Oh, RT. No, it's just me and Jared tonight, guys. We are talking 2026 offense and defense. What we feel as a fan base will look different and how we feel about the coaches running it this year. Corey says, what's up, fellas? What's up, Corey? This is Sparta. What's up, Spartan?
That never gets old.
Yep. Buffalo Spartan and Corey. Corey let us know that those guys are going to the draft this year. So keep your ears out. We'll be having an event. Obviously, 24/7 Buff Pandemonium does the draft party every year. So we will be doing the draft party this year, 4 hours worth. Join us and enjoy that show. See you the Bills pick. Corey, your TikTok cracks me up. That's from Lisa. He does have a TikTok. Making money off it too, from what I hear. The lovely Ellen Lart says, yo, everyone, let's get cracking. Go Bills. What's up, Ellen? Yep, we're cracking. Joe, what are you drinking tonight?
A little bit of Berry Inn cider.
Dad's homemade cider. There you go. So there's the comments about we can hear you. We can hear you. Is on Jared's end more than likely. Corey says, Jared, fix your Dollar General setup. That's funny. The dynamic duo. You're right, John Johnson. Joey Hatch says, how you doing, Buffalo Spartan? What's up, John Johnson? So without further ado, we'll start the show. We are sponsored, guys, a year sponsor this year from our friends there at Otis Lisa's and Dirty Jacks. They're located right in the heart of the Finger Lakes, Phelps, New York. 2 local favorites bringing people together. At Otis Lisa's, it's all about flavor. They are Finger Lakes' finest. They've been voted Finger Lakes' finest wings and pizza. They have fresh made pizza, and they have the kind of quality you don't just find anywhere. It's something you come back to. I've been back there plenty of times. Then right down the road, step into Dirty Jack's Tavern, a true local hangout, cold local beers, a welcome atmosphere, and a place where everyone feels at home. Owned by Andy and Lisa Mattoon, it's more than great food and drinks. It's about community, connection, and supporting Phelps every day. Come for the food, stay for the people, be part of something local. That's our sponsor, 24/7 Buff Pandemonium, the K-Gun Report. Lucky and blessed to have them as our sponsor this year. Jared, when you order from Otis and Lisa's, what's your go-to?
We like the country sweet and sour chicken pizza, but we like the Fandemonium wings, which are wings named after this group here. We get them. It's good for the adults and the kids, so the kids love them too, and that's what we get every time. But you can't beat the Josh Allen's, the Yao Ming's, and I think those are the 3 that we usually get.
Yep. And could talk about that place forever. When you order wings from somewhere else, and I'm not just saying this, and you take a bite out of those other wings, You kind of wish you were eating Otis and Lisa's wings. They got the big wings and they full of flavor and thousands of flavors. So hit them up right there in the heart of Phelps, New York. They're doing good things there. And if you're thirsty, go next door for a drink. It's not past 9 o'clock, but their drink is made from Crafties. That Bigfoot piss. That's pretty
Bigfoot
good.
piss.
Yep. Uh, Joey Hatch says, John Robert in the house. How you doing, brother? And John Robert,
John.
question: what sauce? Uh, I'm a fan of the Fandemonium. It's a buffalo mild with Parmesan sprinkled on it and blue cheese and their special dust that they put on there to make it special.
And obviously, if you're going to dip that, it already has ranch on there, but a little bit more, not ranch, sorry, blue cheese on there.
Blue cheese.
But if you're going to slam it and add a little bit more of that, blue cheese is the way to go, of course.
Oh, yeah. We welcome the 400 plus of you guys already watching. If you haven't watched the show, we get the comments on the board. This place is a place for your voice to be heard, your opinions to be expressed. We are open-minded fellers here, and we're all about it. So leave a comment. We'll get it up there. Today we're talking 2026 offense and defense with the new coordinators. We're going to discuss what we feel is going to look better or different or whichever it is. Yeah, I also want to throw on there, guys. I got a picture coming up here, Jared. You ready? You think it's going to fit nice in here? Oh, no, it definitely is not going to fit.
There you go. It works.
Guys, we have the little people up there. We've got koozies, stickers, BWO and Spartan stickers. We got a bunch of shirts up there. If you go on our social media page, the Facebook page, it's $10 to enter. You can enter as much as you want. $10, all that's coming to you. We'll spin that Fandemonium Wheel of Destiny next week to find out who the winner is. We got a handful of people joining already. So if you haven't, $10 a piece, get you a spot. You can buy as many spots as you want. If you have a question, hit up our social media, hit up us on a private message. We'll give you the info you need.
This is a large deal. So all those shirts are large. Those are what we have on stock. So.
Yep, for sure. And we'll hit that up in a second again for sure. All right, Jared, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this conversation. I have a feeling the second half of the show, we're going to talk about defense. We'll probably be more involved, seeing how that's going to be the biggest change, I believe, on this team. But I do want to talk about and throw this out there before our conversation really gets going. Joe Brady, offensive coordinator, didn't change that, but now he's our head coach. And the question is, Jared, that we're going to talk about for the first half is, how do we feel that this offense is going to be different? What do we see happening? A bunch of questions that follow up with that we'll get through and you guys will hopefully answer. But I want to remind people, is this a big responsibility for Joe Brady coming in to not only be the head coach and be in charge of everybody, but also call plays? I felt he did a great job calling plays. I also felt he did a bad job calling plays. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this year. But we got to remember, and I'm throwing this out there before we get into it, Jared, 2 years ago, we had an MVP quarterback. Last year, we had the rushing title rushing leader. So Joe Brady's got to be doing something well. Last year, we had the fourth highest points scored, fourth highest yards total per game, and then first, obviously, in rushing yards. So something is going well in his regard. So I just wanted to throw out there before we get in there. Jared, tell me, is it too much for Brady, do you think?
So first and foremost, Bills Mafia, if you hear the background noise, just let me know and I'll get that fixed. But what was the question again? Is he the right choice?
Too big for his britches, doing both coordinator and head coaching.
So something that we've been pounding the drum for the last year, actually, most of us, some of us, would be getting Joe Brady down on the field to call the plays. I think when you're up in that little box, you kind of get away from the emotion, which sometimes it can be a good thing, but sometimes you do need it. Sometimes you need a direct line with your quarterback. Sometimes you need a direct line with the players and the offensive line. I think that Joe Brady becoming our head coach is obviously, I love the idea of it. Him calling the plays on the sidelines, him being on the sidelines. You saw how excited he gets up in that booth. He's going to bring that down there. He's got to remember that he has two parts to do. He's got a full-time head coaching job to do. But I think it's an exciting thing to finally get him down on the field with the players, play calling. And you got to remember Josh Allen's leading his offense. So it's going to be an interesting thing to watch. Preseason games would be very important. I know they have 2 extra weeks of preseason practices this year because of a new coach. So hopefully they get things going quick, and we'll find out right away.
And I think that's the biggest thing for Bills fans that they worry about is whether or not he can handle it. Obviously, we know he can handle the offensive coordinator duties, but now you got to handle the other 50, however many people come, 53-man roster, but not all. They don't fill all 53. It'll be interesting. And what is also interesting to me, if one side of the ball, Jared, say the offense is struggling, is he going to be able to still manage the head coaching duties when it's his offense that might be struggling? I'm not saying they are, but it'll be interesting, a learning curve, which honestly, I don't think the Bills fans want a learning curve. I know it was said in the offseason, is he expected to go far? It's like, we can't put that pressure on him. It's like, well, you got rid of a head coach that took you that far. How often? You better be putting pressure on Mr. Brady to get you to the playoffs at least a couple games into it.
So sometimes, Scott, interrupt you quick. Sometimes when a new coach comes in, you're looking at a new quarterback there in the next year and a half, 2 years. So something the Buffalo Bills have is Joe Brady's been there since 2022. He's been the quarterback coach, offense coordinator, now head coach. He's got a relationship that he's built with not only Josh Allen, but that offensive line and the best running back in the freaking league, James Cook. So it's not like he's getting new guys. He has vets on his team. I don't think he's going to have to really coach hard on that offense to get them going when you have Josh Allen in the loop. And I want to quickly add, too, I know I've saw a lot of comments on X this past week. A lot of Bills Mafia wants to see Josh Allen start to get involved instead of just going to the sidelines and sitting. Get involved and getting players in the players' ears, getting them going. I think the fact that Joe Brady's on the sideline, you might see that happen. You might see Allen become more of a vocal sideline quarterback.
Right. And it's about time he does. 9 years in. So to follow up all that, we talked about the coaching, and you look at the roster that they're bringing in so far. Obviously, the draft hasn't happened yet. Obviously, free agency still going on. Might make a couple moves here and there to fill up some depth spots. But if I am going to show you this image here, Jared, and basically it is just our offense right there, if we're looking at it. My question to you is, on paper, looking at that, do you feel that this offense is better? Obviously, they haven't played the game. Obviously, we have a whole season to be able to judge, and at the end of the season, we'll tell it all. But does that on paper roster look better than the one we had in 2026 offensively?
Yeah, I'm looking at the same image as you have. And number one, health. Health plays a big factor in all this, and I think it already looks healthier. We all know Joe Brady did give us good news 2 days ago that Josh Allen will be ready for the season when it comes after that foot injury. DJ Moore, we saw what his numbers look like before this past year as a number one. You got to remember that Khalil Shakir pretty much has been our number one for the last couple of years. He's going to be a threat no matter what's going on. So you have 2 legit receivers right off the bat. Keon Coleman's been putting in the work. I know we heard it last year too, but this year we're hearing the same thing. He's just got to get that maturity stuff under his belt. But just looking at the receiver room, I think it looks a little bit better. Tyrell Shavers has more game experience now coming into the season. So overall, except for a couple linemen, we'll see what happens with that. This offense looks a lot better. And you can even start with Kincaid signing his 5th-year option a couple days ago.
Yep.
Just him on this offense, healthy, makes that tight end room better. And we love Dawson Knox. We love our tight end room. But I think Kincaid being there, Jackson Hawes being there, I think it's this offense does look better.
And I would agree. Obviously, we like to be homers here on the K-Gun Report, but this one clearly to me jumps out, Jared. There's only 2 spots on this roster that are starting spots that are different than what they were last year. And if anyone is to argue, many would argue to the point that DJ Moore is the best receiver we've had on this roster other than Shakir. So wouldn't that tell you automatically our wide receiver room is better as far as the top 3? And Coleman's a 4 right now. And I'm also looking at line. We did just sign Austin Corbett from the Panthers and Lloyd Cushenberry from Tennessee. Um, Two very quiet picks in my mind. Both have starting experience. Both know the system, and both are going to put Alex Anderson's job up in the air. And I have full trust in Alec Anderson in that left guard spot, but those guys are going to push, and they're going to be that iron sharpens iron. We say it all the time, but these guys didn't come in to be backups. They have starter experience, and they're going to be pushing. David Edwards was our left guard before, and I would be hard pressed not to say that these guys potentially could be better. This left guard position could potentially be better than what it was with David Edwards there. So, in a nutshell, we added a better number one wide receiver, and we only needed to replace the guard, and potentially we signed two guys that could take over, if not Alec Anderson, a guy that's already been there. So yeah, I would say hell yeah, our on paper, we're better. We are better. All the running backs are the same. Quarterback's the same. Well, quarterback's different. We don't have Mitch Trubisky. Tight end room hasn't changed. I'm loving what I'm seeing offensively there, and I don't think um, that is even any kind of detrimental to the roster we had last year. Now, with seeing that, are we drafting a wide receiver this year? And what round do you think we're doing that?
So to add on what you just said, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. You mentioned it earlier. Halfway through the 2024 season, um, Joe Brady came in and he pretty much led this Buffalo Bills offense to an MVP, a leading rusher, and top five offense the last year and a half. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. What am I going to do with that first pick? I think I want to go receiver still anyway. That's what I think both Bills Mafia want to do. But and we'll talk about this later. My mind is starting to switch to another linebacker. 3-4 defense, man. We got to have linebackers that are able to fly around, and especially on the outside linebackers too, to be able to get up to the quarterback and still get back in coverage and play defense. So, as much as I'd like a receiver, if we can get a top name, that'd be awesome. But I think we need to start building on this potentially already awesome defense. We'll get to that later.
There you go. Jared already thinks potentially already awesome. Lou RQ says Tyrell motherfucking Shavers is elite. I think he can be very good. And Joey Hatch said, I wouldn't go that far. Well, give the guy a chance. Kid played for the torn ACL, still played through the game. Yep, he's definitely a committed team player for sure. Joey Hatch said,
elite's hard to say. Elite's hard to say, but he's definitely good.
If Kincaid can stay healthy, he's never played a whole year. He only played 12 games last year. I know, and he was playing off an injury as well. Drives me nuts when you hear about that at the end of the season. I heard Khalil Shakir will play more outside wide receiver. I guess we'll see. Lou says, yep, rather have Hawes out there blocking and catching. Yep.
What a pleasant surprise he was, huh?
Yep. Eleanor says, very much agreed. Cooks was Good Morning Football. Oh, he was on Good Morning Football last week, saying that he did catch the ball and he would like to come back to the Bills. I think there's rumors out there saying he potentially might. Right now, there are rumors.
Yep, there are rumors. There are rumors out there saying he wants to come back, and why wouldn't you?
Yep. And Joey Hatch says no tackle McDonald or CJ Allen at 26 is either one of available. If we need both, we do need both. So yeah, that's the conversation that has to be had. If on paper you think our wide receiver room and even the rest of the roster, if is better, if not, yeah, it's the same, if not better, then there's an argument there. We're looking at that roster. I think we're sitting pretty. And Jared, like you said, the best ability is availability. So if these guys can stay healthy, it is what it is. And I just want to throw 2 cents out there on DJ Moore. And I said it last week. The Chicago Bears soon will have to pay for Caleb Williams. They're going to pay $50+ million for him. DJ Moore was carrying quite a bit of chunk of money. The Bears strategically drafted 2 wide receivers in Roma Dunze and Luther Burden the last 2 years. They were going to replace DJ Moore because they needed to start saving money. DJ Moore wasn't he had lower numbers last year, but it wasn't to his fault. It was the fault of the Bears are trying to move on from him because they know they need to save money, in my opinion. So to say he fell last year, yeah, his stats were off last year, but I'd still believe if he's capable of 90 and 1K with close to double-digit touchdowns. And I think that's a reality, just given the targets we got to see because, everybody eats that montage.
Yeah, and we also mentioned last week, Scott, that DJ Moore's catch percentage was about 58.8%. Um, 5 to 10% increase in that, then he's got a over 1,000 and then probably about a 90 reception season.
Yep, yep. And Luarq says Bears had 3 wide receiver ones, use the young guys. Yep, I agree, 100%. I think that's where DJ Moore fell off. Is he's good. I think he still got it. And if you want to go big time into the research, see where Diggs was at this point in his career when we took him in the first round. All right, and if DJ Moore can do anything that Diggs did, we definitely made out on this trade compared to the Diggs trade for sure.
Yeah, and you guys got to remember, Scott, James Cook was our leading rusher, the NFL's leading rusher, and he only played a couple snaps in Week 17, so he did it with only 16 games. That's going to add a different fire to this offense too. It's going to add a different fire to this league. This league's got to pay attention. I know they've paid attention to James Cook in the past. You have to, but that's going to keep this offense open and on fire. And then when you have a weapon at quarterback, you have a weapon at running back, and you have weapons on your offensive line, and your tight ends have some weapons there. When you bring a guy like DJ Moore in to add the weaponry or the to the lineup that you have, it's dangerous. And year in and year out, and this is the most important thing, when you have weapons like that, you have to keep them healthy. If they're healthy, then there's nobody that's going to stop this Buffalo Bills offense.
Agreed. And we're saying they're better on paper. Remember, 4th in total yards, 4th in scoring. They could be potent. So that leads up to my next question, Jared. 4th in yards, 4th in scoring, MVP 2 years ago, Russian title, running back last year. Was Brady, in your mind, held back by McDermott? And follow-up, do you think Brady's going to unleash something that we have not seen yet in this Buffalo Bills offense?
I referred to it. Puppy dog. I referred to it earlier. McDermott might have held him back a little bit because he had him up there in that box. Throwing the plays down to Josh Allen, I don't know how much of the play call was interrupted by McDermott, but just him being down on the sidelines, just that pure fact itself is going to add more fire to this offense. Just the energy, him being down there, him getting in the moment feedback is going to be, I think, huge. So I don't know if he held him back per se. He was a head coach. He does have final say with stuff, but he is one of the best offensive coordinators in the league. He's going to be down the sidelines mixing hand in hand with Josh Allen, listen to his linemen. If he did hold him back, I got a feeling you're going to see a lot more this year coming up anyway.
And I do love the idea, like you said, of him being on the sideline. We see in the booth that he's an emotional guy. Mm-hmm. He wears his heart on his sleeve. And that not always is the best thing, but it could be a really good thing here in Buffalo.
You look at Dan Campbell and Vrabel as head coaches. They played the game. They know the emotion that comes with each and every play, each and every snap. They've been there. Joe Brady hasn't played, but that energy, just a simple energy, being down in the field will be a big factor this year.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Let's hit up some of these comments real quick. And Marianne Calabrese says, what about Milano and Trey? I read that Kincaid has a rare condition with his knee. Jared, do you know anything about the rare condition? You're the therapist there. Okay. John Roberts says, I believe Lloyd Cushenberry will be taught guard position. I think that's a very good idea there, John. And like I said, these guys didn't get signed free agent just to sit the bench. Joey Hatch says, the problem is Jen Cates, not something that requires surgery. Oh, the knee. It's something that heals itself over time, and that's a problem has been the last 3 seasons. Yeah, he hasn't had allowed it to heal. Corey says, Amore and Allen will be top 3 QB in wide receiver duel. Love what you're saying out here, guys. Might have been a definite factor. Now he's in charge and led the offense, the team the way they need to lead. Here's my theory on that question I just asked you, Jared. McDermott's the head coach, correct? Was the head coach. His mentality, you saw it on defense, was bend but don't break, and he liked to control the game. I think that's a big factor of why James Cook was their leading rusher this year. They ran the ball more than they ever had in the past, and I think that was a pace control by McDermott. I do believe that now that Brady is at the helm, calling the plays, being the head coach, I do believe he was held back. I do believe that was part of the game. That was part of the strategy, and that's what you bring with your head coach. Joe Brady, you're the head coach now, man. Bring it. Bring it because your defense is going to bring it, and we'll get there in a second. But your defense is going to bring it. The offense is going to put up points. It's going to be something special to watch. Got another question for you, Jared, as I always do. Go ahead.
Gonna jump in really quick. Dalton Kincaid suffered a PCL injury back in November 2024. It is known as an uncommon or mysterious scenario because of because it lingered over a period of time. What the rarity is there apparently is Morel Levele lesion, which is there's a buildup of fluid under the skin near that ligament, which can cause irritation and pain. So even though it is an uncommon or mysterious thing that's happening with them, the PCL is a common injury for the knee, but the lesion that's under there is not. And that all that does is cause discomfort and pain. So if you can manage the discomfort and pain, then it's your regular PCL injury.
There you go. There you go. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Jared, I got one last question when it comes to the offense.
See,
because, and we've talked about Brady and how we feel that he's gonna run things. He's got to do dual jobs, obviously. Will Josh Allen finally? Well, first, will the no huddle offense be utilized more? And to take a little pressure off good old Coach Brady, is Josh Allen going to be allowed to call his own plays? The floor is yours.
Knee-jerk reaction, I'm going to say yes. Again, him being on the sideline, those mics turn off after about when you have 15 seconds left in the play. Doesn't mean you can't scream out to the guys. I think Brady's going to maybe let Josh Allen go a little bit because he is down on the sideline and because he is head coach now and he has other responsibilities. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, a big factor is, again, how involved Joe Brady's going to be down the sidelines, but also the big factor is going to be the veterans that they have on the team that have been playing with them for a while. If they're still the same group coming in, then I say let Josh go. But we've wished for the K-gun type thing the last couple of years. We haven't really seen it. I wouldn't doubt if we don't see it at all. But the things leading up to this season, again, like Brady being on sidelines and the veterans that we have, it's not. There is a chance that you might see it.
Okay, I agree. Josh is plenty well experienced with this offense. He's had Brady now for a couple of years. Obviously, he's had Dable and Dorsey, similar play calls. So he's been in the system. I think the man finally can start calling his own plays. Back in the day in the 90s when our quarterbacks called their own plays, was amazing to watch. The no huddle, especially the K-gun report with Jim Kelly. It
K-gun offense.
Yes. Oh, did I say the K-gun report?
You did, but that's all right.
But it'd be nice to see. I would love to see it. The only thing that as a coach that you have to understand, obviously, is if it's getting to be too much for your quarterback, that's where this relationship comes in huge. When you see your quarterback and Josh Allen become what we say, the golden retriever, Josh Allen, you got to pull those rein backs. You got to hit the zap collar. Whatever your strategy is, I'll cut him back a little bit. You have to be aware of what's happening as a head coach when your quarterback starts getting a little excited. So there's a lot of gameplay to go with that, but yeah, let Josh loose every once in a while. Let him call some plays. He might be a future offensive coordinator at some point. Let's see what our fans say. Lou RQ, young guy seems to work well with guys and bring the fire to the team. Yep, he sure does, talking about coach. Let's see here. Lou RQ said better cut it off and give him a metallic leg, talking about Kincaid. Lou also says, no huddle would be sweet if Josh just calls plays. No questions asked. He does what is needed. Yep. Because, I mean, we all understand when the game gets tough, even the announcers say it, the pundits all say it, let Josh take over.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows? Who knows if he has any input on the plays that are being called. Lou RQ, I think he was a little bit of a clapper, said, don't you do it.
So to add to the no huddle, though, previous offenses have been missing pieces for the no huddle. You have to have James Lofton, Andre Reed, Thurman Thomas, McKellar. You have to have the weapons out there to be able to do that. So they don't leave the field. So everyone has to stay in the field. another factor, DJ Moore coming out of this team might be that final piece to see that K-Gun run away. You know what I mean? So you have to have a set of players on the field at one time to be able to run 5, 6, 7 plays in a row.
Yep. And for those of you who don't know, Jared, tell them why they called it the K-Gun.
They called it the K-Gun because they based the play calls off of tight end Keith McKellar. He was a very good blocker and a catch passer. He demanded a lot of double teams. He didn't have the stat line to show it, but he was such a great athlete and a great tight end that Jim Kelly would base a lot of calls off the Keith McKellar and what he was doing.
There you go. And the beautiful thing is you could still call this a K-Gun because 2 of our 4 tight ends, Knox starts with a K, Kincaid starts with a K. There you go.
There you go.
So with all that, we're going to get a word from our sponsor.
Right in the heart of the Finger Lakes, Phelps, New York, 2 local favorites are bringing people together. At Otis and Lisa, it's all about flavor. Finger Lakes' finest wings, fresh-made pizza, and the kind of quality you don't just find anywhere. It's something you come back for. Then just down the road, step into Dirty Jack's Tavern, a true local hangout. Cold local beers, a welcoming atmosphere, and a place where everyone feels at home. Owned by Andy and Lisa Mattoon, it's more than great food and drinks. It's about community, connection, and supporting Phelps every day. Come for the food, stay for the people, be part of something local.
There, I love that little commercial you got there, Jerry.
Did they have words this time?
They had words. They had your voice. But yeah, to go back off that, thank you for Dirty Jack's Tavern and Otis and Lisa's right there in the heart of the Finger Lakes, Phelps, New York. There's a lot going on in the area. I know Swank has the music for Mom there in September. We have the Rager in Manchester. And there's just a lot that Phelps, Clifton Springs, that's where we're from, has to offer. And I love the fact that they got Andy and Lisa are doing this there and supporting the community. They're big community supporters. They support the local football team in Mid-Lakes High School, and they just do great things there. And if you're passing through, driving down 96, you're looking for some pizza, you don't want to drive all the way to Geneva or Waterloo, right there in Phelps, get them up right on Main Street. Yum. So let's transition. Everyone that is following us, I do want to remind you that we do have, I'm going to edit to this stage. We're going to mess up this whole thing again. But we do have,
looks good,
on our Facebook page, we're not giving away, it's a raffle, $10 a spot, get you all that. We will be spinning the Fandemonium Wheel of Destiny next week for that said spot. The winner gets all that. We'll send it out to you. What it includes is the Ralph's Last Ride shirt, FLX Mafia shirt, 24/7 Buff Fandemonium shirt, a bunch of stickers from our friends at BWO and Buffalo Spartan. You see there in the center. The latest Little People with Kelly, Allen, McDermott, and Levy. And then a couple koozies and some stickers. So $10 a spot, unlimited spots. Do what you want with it, but that'll be up for you guys to grab. Contact us if you have any questions, for sure.
For sure.
I always say.
Did you see these 2 guys right here?
Those 2 helmets? Yep.
Yeah. So that's the throwback single bar.
Yep.
Buffalo Bills 62 style. And I don't know if you saw that one. That's Greg Bell signed mini helmet. See the white or the blue face mask? Oh, I love those helmets. I just want to share that. Just want to share it with you all.
Yeah, where'd you get that Greg Bell from there, buddy?
You, brother.
My brother's a running back guy, so anytime I get running backs, hey, do you want it? Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah.
There you go. Bring your scrap, get your cash, and grab a slice. There you go.
I must add, I know there's a lot of memorabilia going out there nowadays, a lot of collectibles, but I recently, 2 years ago, started adding James Cook. I am a running back guy. Thurman Thomas, Fred Jackson, James Cook, you're in the league now. You're my buddy too. So those 3 guys. If you got any James Cook stuff, send them my way.
There you go. But you just asking for shit. Jared and I had the pleasure last year. We took our sons who love playing football to the James Cook camp there at I believe it was Bishop Kearney High School. James Cook had a camp out there, and you and I were going there just for the experience, letting our kids do their thing. They're pretty talented, and we just wanted to see them display their talent amongst all the other good talent that's around the Rochester area. And we were approached and asked to coach, be a part of the camp. So that was pretty awesome. kind of thought about it because we wanted to watch our kids, but then we realized we'd be back on the sidelines and the bleachers, having to have binoculars to see the kids. So we got right there on the field with them. Um, Lucky enough to be a coach in the James Cook camp. That was fun. And and I'll say this: the guy is quiet. That's just his demeanor. He's not rude. He's not impolite. A lot of people knock him for that. But James Cook is a stand-up guy. He does this stuff for the kids. He's just a quiet guy. We're all over the place.
Yeah, if you have any ill thoughts about James Cook, watch him when he's with kids in the young group. He loves it. He's a whole different person, smile ear to ear, and he just loves helping these young kids. And adults are difficult. Grown people can be assholes. I'm going to be straightforward with it. But he sees the purity in these young athletes. He comes out there and helps them out and plays with them. And if you want to see James Cook talk and smile, the young bucks out there, young girls and boys playing ball, that's where he's in his comfort spot. And I loved watching it. The smile on his face was awesome. And he did a great job. Phenomenal job.
Well, if you couldn't tell on the sidelines, his biggest supporter is his father, and it didn't take long for the fans to realize that his dad was there. And yeah, he's a hype guy for sure,
Yep.
for sure. We're gonna get into defense now. Obviously, big change, the biggest change. And I'm gonna throw some stuff out there like I did when we talked about the offense, just to set the tone a little bit for this upcoming defense that we're gonna see in 2026. Jim Leonhard, a former Buffalo Bills safety, is coming to Buffalo to run our defense. He was part of the Denver defense that was very aggressive, linebacker wise, very aggressive defensive line wise, and his defensive backfield was top in the league, one of the top of the league. Okay, he's bringing that with us. The problem is we ran a 4-3 defense before, so there's a lot of question of being able to blend, being able to mix, being able to change your role as a defender. Interesting stat, and this could not have come in a better time. Not only have I read, but I also heard on WGR, and Jared, give me an estimate. What percentage of snaps do the Buffalo Bills have to replace in 2026 defensively? Meaning, players are gone, snap percentages are there. What percentage of snaps do they have to replace in 2026?
I'm going to say 55, 60.
You're right there. You're right there, which is highest in the league. But it could not have come at a perfect time. When you're going from a 4-3 defense to a 3-4 defense, now is the time to get new players in. Now is the time to bring in free agents, rookies, and all that stuff because you are making a change. So not only do we have a new defensive coordinator, we have a completely different defensive scheme. It's a 3-4 scheme, 3-3 scheme. There's still the nickel out there, all that good stuff. But what Jim Leonhard brings to the table is disguise and pressure and turnovers. A lot different than what we saw with McDermott with his bend but don't break kind of defense. So, are you on board? That's the lead up question, brother. Are you on board? We have to be. But are you excited for this kind of change? I mean, we've been saying all along, all year for the last 7 years, pressure. Oh, he gets pressure. Oh, he gets quarterback pressure. But aren't you tired of only guys getting 6 sacks a season? Are you okay with this change? And are you excited for it?
So, yeah, I'm okay with it. And excitement is an understatement. Jim Leonhard at Wisconsin, the 4 or 5 years he was there, was a top 10 defense coordinator, top 10 defense throughout this league, throughout the league, the NCAA. So he brings that experience. With Denver, he brings experience. What the 3-4 defense brings is, and we've always said our linebackers are kind of small. I know the Bills linebackers fit a certain mold, but 3-4 defense is going to make the versatility of our linebackers come, rise. It's going to make the fat rise, right? So I think the 3-4 defense successful against modern day offenses. It slows the offensive passing down. You can do a 3-4 over, under. You can bring 5 guys up. You can bring 4 guys up. You can shift the linebackers one way or another. That's why I mentioned that maybe linebackers can be a push during the draft here because we need to find some guys to fill those spots. But I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to see Gregory Russo where he fits in because he's a smaller outside guy that can play back and drop into coverage. I'm excited to see it. Another very important part of a 3-4 defense that is coming up is now there's going to be a lot of pressure on our nose tackle. Can Ed Oliver become that DT1 right up in the middle? You might have heard it here first. He might be playing outside. I think Walker He's a good guy. Carter is another good guy that could be that nose tackle that we need. The Ted Washington types, the big Hog Molly Pat Williams types up front. Yes, this defense is changing, but I think it's changing for the good. 3-4 defenses have been on the winning ends of most games throughout the last couple seasons. Again, keeping up with the modern offenses. Again, it's going to be interesting to see how the linebackers fall into place, where they go. It's going to bring a lot of. There's so much to talk about this 3-4 defense. I feel like I'm rambling on, but the first versatility, blitz packages, coming from left to right, you could set up all these these agile guys to run behind them. It's going to be interesting to see. Yes, can they get it going, and in a short amount of time? I feel they can, because a lot of the Bills players on the team have come from some sort of 3-4 defense to begin with. So I don't think it's going to be that hard, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a very good thing for this defense, and Bills Mafia is going to be happy about it.
All right, Jared, you mentioned
Ramble. I'm sorry, but there's a lot to go in with this defense.
there's a lot to go on. You mentioned your guy Russo, but our friends here in the social media are bringing up Chubb, the free agent that we just brought in for 3 years.
Yeah.
Bradley Chubb, obviously last year had more sacks than the Bills guys did for a Miami defense. A guy that's has, I think Swank pointed out, 19 plus sacks the last 2 healthy years he's had. Let's ask the question: over or under 10 sacks for Bradley Chubb?
Yeah, over.
Lou,
If he plays all 17,
Yeah.
over.
Lou says under 9.5. And Nebraska says he would say like 7. Let's see. And Nebraska, you mean 2? LOL. Lou RQ is trying to be a little sarcastic there. Corey says 12.
There you go,
I'm
Corey.
with Corey. I think I'm with like 11.5. Lou again, I'll put 10 on DraftKings. Adam says I'll take a piece of that.
So I think, who was our leading sacker last year?
6.5 was the lead, and it may have been. Look it up. I don't have the fingers ready.
Gregory Russo was 7.
Okay.
Okay. I don't think a lot of Bills Mafia realize the 4-3 defense, those outside guys aren't sackers. They're linebackers still. 3-4 defense, those outside guys are hog mollies looking to get sacks. You're going to get more sacks with the 3-4 defense. So Gregory Russo had 7 last year on a defense that didn't prohibit him getting to the quarterback. So I think, yeah, Nick Chubb, he'll have over 10.
See, to me, Jerry, he changed his number to 15, but to me, I'm not seeing where Greg fits yet. I'm still kind of confused where Greg fits yet. I don't see the Bills getting rid of him, obviously invested money and time. But I can't see him being a 3-4 outside linebacker. He doesn't remind me of a TJ Watt. He doesn't remind me of those kind of guys. He had played defensive tackle.
Yeah, I was going to say, he came in at DT, right, at Miami? Okay.
Those long arms, that lengthy body is pretty good for separation and getting his hands up for pass rush. But I think out of the guys that are coming in, and this is my follow-up question, I'll answer it first. Who do you believe benefits the most with this change? I believe the guys coming in like Ed Oliver. He was drafted by the Bills, and he was drafted because of what he did at Houston under a 3-4 defense. Boys and girls, get ready for all hell to break loose. Ed Oliver, I know he's been under the system for a bunch of years now. He's always done his best with one-on-one. That's why we always said we need a defensive tackle to take on 2 blocks so Ed Oliver has one-on-one. He's going to have that at the 3-4 defense. He's going to have what he had when he went to Houston at college. He's going to be the reason why the Bills drafted him. He's going to get those sacks. He's going to be – I can't wait for him. And in the same breath, I see TJ Sanders playing that same exact role on the other side.
Yep.
So you get TJ Sanders and Ed Oliver one-on-one. I think those guys benefit the most from this defensive schematic change. You just need the hog molly like Deion Walker to understand that he's got to take on 2 blocks at that nose tackle spot. And I do believe there's a free agent out there by the name of DJ Reader that the Buffalo Bills have to show some interest in. To have Deion and DJ switching back and forth will be very beneficial to this defense. So with that being said, who do you think is going to be the biggest beneficiary of the 3-4 change?
It's going to be the secondary. It's going to be Benford, Maxwell Harrison. It's going to be CJ Gardner. It's going to be those guys back there. because now what's going to happen with all the stunts and stuff that's going to go on the front line with the linebackers blitzing here and there, that secondary is going to eat. They're not going to have to cover for 5-6 seconds. Another thing that this 3-4 defense brings is a massive confusion. If it's run right, you're going to confuse the hell out of the offense. You're going to have one guy coming, two guys coming from left, right, the linebackers. That's the first versatility of it. So my biggest thing that I think is the biggest group that's going to benefit is going to be that secondary. But I do agree with you. Ed Oliver at defensive tackle on the outside, one-on-one. Sanders, one-on-one. Deion Walker, Hog Molly in the middle. Ed Oliver might get that chance to eat if he steps 2 feet left or right where he's used to playing. And that, I know that's going to make Swank happy.
Oh, hell yeah. And let's not forget, Corey T brings it up. Hoyt should be a big piece this year. He was becoming a big piece last year until he got hurt.
Yeah.
Amazing.
No, Hoyt's going to be unbelievable.
So I think we're loaded. I think we're looking pretty good. If Russo can surprise me, like I said, he's the only nervous spot I have for adjusting. But if Russo can perform and Hoyt is behind him, you can rotate those guys like a son of a bitch. You bring Bradley Chubb in, you're good there. Javon Solomon, a rookie that we drafted in 2024, known, not the biggest guy, not the guy with the longest arms, but his body type now perfectly matches the 3-4 outside linebacker spot. So I think we're good. And like you said, the biggest beneficiary is the secondary. Hell yeah. Anytime you can put pressure on the quarterback, bring sacks, bring the quarterback down, it makes the linebacker's job easier, like we've always said, year in and year out, which in turn brings that safety and that cornerback job a lot easier.
Our secondary is looking pretty sweet too.
It is.
Yes, me. I think they're definitely better this year than they were last year. I think there's a lot of pieces in that secondary that you can right now say start. You know what I mean? And Benford, Gardner, Bishop, Hairston, Melford. There's a lot of variety pick in there, and it's exciting. It's something we were nervous as hell as last year, but it's all come together, I think.
It really has, because if you consider what the defensive backfield looks like, we all love Benford. He's obviously proven himself, has an extension in his contract. He's going to be there a while. But now Maxwell Harrison, a full year under his belt, they're going to let him loose. So our corners right now could be potentially top 5 in the league. Yes, D. Elford came in from Atlanta. We got rid of Taron Johnson. Taron Johnson was getting a little old, getting a little age. He got beat a bunch of times. So this might be a fresh start for this type of nickel. Keeping in mind, we run a 3-3, 3-4 defense now. And there's been talk of Cole Bishop's becoming elite. He's doing things now that are looking elite-ish.
Talk?
He's there.
Talk, he's up there, man.
And then now you bring in that defensive coordinator, Jim Leonhard, who likes to disguise, who likes to blitz, who likes to keep people guessing. And who
played safety? Who played safety?
Yep. And how do you help Cole Bishop in that defense up? You bring in a ball-hawking safety who's not afraid to come in the box, put his helmet on someone, and talk shit. And Mr. C.J. Gardner Johnson.
Things are looking good.
They're putting together pieces that I think is going to make this defense not have to adjust much at all to become one of the better defenses in the league. Oh, yeah, let's throw Geno Stone in there, a starting safety from Cincinnati who is a backup. It is what it is. I think this defense doesn't look bad, and I think we draft defense first, actually. That's my biggest concern, and that's where I'm going right now, and that's the follow-up question to who benefits the most is now what's your biggest area of concern. Mine right now, you mentioned earlier, Jared, linebackers have to fly around.
Yep.
Bernard looked slow when he came back. Milano, love Milano, but I don't know how he fits in a 3-4 scheme flying around. I do believe that convinces me that linebacker position might be 2 out of the first 4 picks the Buffalo Bills do in this draft. So linebacker for me, especially inside, as much as I love Bernard and Milano, Dorian Williams is coming off the neck injury. Joe Andreessen is not there yet. He's a fun story. He potentially can grow up to be that spot. But what is your biggest area of concern as far as this defense goes?
I mentioned at the top of the show, it's linebackers. Linebackers, we have to fill those spots. Buffalo Bills, bring back Shaq Thompson. He wants to play. He's been in the 3-4. He excels. You saw him last year blow up a lot of plays. Shaq, I'm rooting for you. If you see this, come make it work. But no, linebacker position is going to be huge. we got to get someone right there in the middle that's going to direct everything. The outside guys can be hit or miss. I'm not hit or miss, but I think the smaller body types make that happen. But we need to hog Molly in the middle.
There you go. There you go. Let's hit up the comments. Adam Barasco says, I'm excited for the new 3-4D. It's something different. I hope they start flying around. He's got a follow up with, I wish we have some better safeties, though. Adam, I'm not one to argue, but we mentioned, does our offense look better on paper than it did last year? We agreed yes. I honestly think our defense might look better on paper. Obviously, we switched it up, but I think our safety situation is better than it was last year. I was a fan of Rapp, but he was just a headhunter that missed a lot of tackles and he was pretty inconsistent. And then the guy that we just lost, what was his name? Cam Lewis. I think we're better here. I think we're better with Johnson Gardner, and I think we're better with Stone and Bishop. But we'll see. Obviously, all this talk has to be proven on the field.
This is a new defense. The Buffalo Bills defense has been used to a certain way of playing for the last handful of years, 8 years. That's what made them bend but don't break, but they all understood that. You know what I mean? So it's hard to come in and fix that. What you also got to remember is Jim Leonhard is running this 3-4. He's been doing it for a while. Some of these players on the Bills roster are familiar with the 3-4. And change is going to be good, but you also got to remember nobody has film on what our Bills 3-4 defense could look like too.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. We obviously hope for the best as Bills fans, but having a player as our defense or our defense coordinator, that adds something to it.
That's that excitability. You think he'll be on the sidelines?
Yeah, Jim Leonhard, I would say ex-player. He'll be sideline guy.
Corey says, and we brought in a shit talker on defense for secondary. Let's go, big defense this year. He's talking about CJ Gardner Johnson. Yeah, go look at what he's done on the field and after the play. He is someone that can get under the skin of wide receivers, which not a bad thing. Just got to worry about the penalties. He is someone that is not afraid to lay the helmet, lay the wood on these guys. And he may be just that spark. And the Bills locker room is at a point to where they can keep that under control. I firmly believe that. I think they can keep that under wraps. Obviously, winning helps, but I think that's a good addition. Joey Hatch can't wait to see a healthy Hoyt. We saw what a healthy Hoyt did last year, and it was pretty dangerous. Yeah. It's a shame he got hurt.
It was nasty.
Lou RQ, no holding back clapping is turned off. Lou RQ is with me. Guys, we will have on April 23rd our draft show. But I think we're watching a draft and not seeing the Bills get anybody. I think we trade back first round to the second. I agree 100%. Adam says, I definitely excited to see the change in this defense. I have the faith. He meant faith, I bet. Gotta have faith. There it is. He changed it. I think Williams, number 45, will work better in the new defense.
Yep.
You did. Yeah, did you guys talk CJ Gardner? Yep, we sure did. This defense needs to step up the big games the whole time. Yep. And I think, like I said, that's going to bring in McDermott's not there. That conservative play is not going to be there anymore. And that's something that we can be excited for sure as optimistic Bills fans. We are at what time we got, Jared? 9:25. We got 5 minutes left.
Can I add something really quick before we end it out? Bills Mafia. I know sometimes on social media, the algorithms tend towards negative shit compared to positive shit. We got to get after our boy Dean Dawkins. He's kind of feeling low. He just went on. I don't know whose podcast it was, but he's feeling a lot of shade from the Bills Mafia. Like they don't respect him, they don't like him. I'm going to be the first to say that's a small amount of people, Dion. You got to pay attention to the ones that actually love you. Stay away from the algorithms. The Bills Mafia does love you. So Dean Dawkins, send him lots of love if you can on your Facebook page, X or whatever pages you're on. Get Dean Dawkins because he's feeling kind of low of all the shade that the loud noise is actually getting out to him.
It's a shame that's how social media works.
Yep.
Like, you watch it, and the negativity gives a lot more likes, and that's what the world's based on nowadays, which is sad and sickening, but it is what it is. Guys, right in the middle of the Finger Lakes, Phelps, New York, there's two local favorites that are bringing people together. That's our sponsor at the K Gun Report. Otis and Lisa's Pizza and Wings, Subs and Wings, and Dirty Jack's. Otis and Lisa, it's all about the flavor. Finger Lakes Finest voted top wings, top pizza, fresh made pizza, and the kind of quality you don't just find anywhere. It's something you come back for. We've been back plenty of times. Just down the road, owned by Andy and Lisa Mattoon, is Dirty Jack's Tavern, a true local hangout, cold local beers, a welcoming atmosphere, and a place where everyone feels at home. Owned by Andy and Lisa, like I said, it's more than great food and drinks. It's all about community connection and supporting Phelps every day and the Finger Lakes. Come for food, stay for the people, be part of something local, be part of something special. I've mentioned before, I love their food. Jared's mentioned it before, I love their food, but they are big time supporters of the community, which makes it even more special that they're sponsoring us and that they're a year long commitment. And we love you guys for it. So if you're hungry, thirsty, you can go there and get everything you need.
We did a live feed there too for the Bengals game, and we had giveaways and stuff like that. We had a great time, but the atmosphere during the game was simply it was amazing. The bar was full upstairs. The kids were running around. They came down, said some choice words during the time, but it was simply awesome. So it's Dirty Jack's. It's right. You got to find it a little bit. It's kind of hidden, but it's a great place. And Otis and Lisa's, like Scott said, yeah, the food, the wings, everything about it is awesome. There's a little nostalgia if you go in there. They kept one room set back for the 1970s style, which is cool. They have an arcade. It is pretty neat, and they do a lot for the community, which makes us even better that they're sponsoring us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ernest and Lisa.
You said do. So
Doo-doo.
let's hit up this. We're gonna hit up the fans' comments real quick. You guys are doing great. Love it. I do want to remind people, hit up Facebook, our social media platform on Facebook. We are doing a raffle. We've got our shirts, we got koozies, we've got stickers, we've got the little people, Levy, McDermott, Kelly, and Alan. I'm not gonna throw up the image. Go on there, check it out. If you're interested, it's $10 a spot, unlimited spot. We will spin that Fandemonium Wheel of Destiny next week to find out who the winner is of all that good stuff. But just like we always say, hit up all our social media pages. We're on X, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Jared's got us on what's it called?
TikTok.
TikTok, and what's the Instagram knockoff there?
Oh, I don't know what the other one is.
It's share, anyways, and we're on YouTube. So hit us up, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. This is the time of night where we do our final thoughts. I do want to throw this out there before Jared gives his. Bills Mafia, thanks for the comments. You guys hit every week. We're at 850 almost. Like us, tag us, share us. We grow because of you. We don't do anything extra. We don't pay for the algorithm to be punished. We don't rely on you guys to join us every week. We rely on you guys to share and tag people. We're trying to grow in the Finger Lakes. We have a sister page called FLX Mafia. We're trying to grow to bring recognition to this lovely area of the Finger Lakes. Bills are represented everywhere. The Finger Lakes is loaded with Bills fans that don't know about it. And we do a lot. We do a rager at Reinvention September what day?
3rd.
Yep. This year, Labor Day weekend on Saturday. Thanks, Jared.
New name coming. Not necessarily the Rager. Scares people away. So new name coming.
But we rely on you guys. We do what we do. We rely on you guys for a little bit of help, and you guys don't disappoint. So thanks for the comments. Join us every week, every Tuesday at 8:30. Jared, hit us with your final thought. I'll hit you with mine, and we'll get the hell out of here. The rain.
All right, season 7 is underway. We're on episode 2. I've been chatting with a lot of guys, and we have a nice list coming up of players and gurus coming in. Mark Maddox, hopefully next week. Mark Maddox might be here next week. We'll let you know. We'll keep you posted with that. Dean Kindig, NFL draft guru, is going to be the 14th. We have Brad Lamb lined up. Don Beebe lined up. Nate Turner, ex-fullback, ex-running back for the Buffalo Bills, lined up. And Carlos Williams lined up for shows to come in. So, and more. And more. We're not stopping there. So tune in every Tuesday, talk Bills football with us, see some old players coming in. I don't want to say old, but players that we loved and admired throughout the years coming in. The reason why we invite them is because we love them as players, and they connect with us very well. So we have a great lineup coming. Until next week, Swank will be back next week, so there'll be the threesome, foursome. Hopefully we'll have Mr. Mark Maddox, Mad Dog Max coming in, and we'll chat more football and life. Until then, guys, survive, get your rowboats out. It's getting a little rainy out here in the Finger Lakes. And we'll see you next time. Go Bills.
Having a shit ton of Go Bills from fans that are following us, OGs, all that stuff. Thank you guys for the support. Like Jared said, upcoming shows. April 14th, Dean Kindig from the Buffalo fan base is joining us. He is the draft guru. We go over what we think is going to happen a week and a half later. So that's Dean Kindig, Buff fan base. Follow him if you haven't. He's a guy that's all about the draft. He starts it before the season's even over with. That's about it. My final thought, I said it already. I thank you guys very much for everything you do for this page and joining us every week. Jared said it. Swank's joining us back next week. Every week, Tuesday night, the K-Gun Report goes live. We get you guys involved. Fan first perspective. Can't wait to do it again. Love you all. Go Bills.
Go Bills. Beep boop bop beep beep boop.
Take my picture with you when you go out west. If you love me, then just say it with your chest. But don't forget about me, yeah, I will do my best. And that's the truth for me and you. And those baby blues. Yeah, those baby blues. A broken man without a path. A vagrant aimless without a mouth. Took 2 long breaths and just one more till my lungs couldn't hold another. For you and me. And those baby blues. Yeah, those baby blues. Those baby blues. Yeah, those baby blues. A broken man without a path. A vagrant aimless without a mouth. Some kisses your cheek and then grazes your neck. Makes my lips so damn jealous. For you and me. And those baby